So this one could be a conversation starter. I read Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn in 2014. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I wrote this about it in the middle of that year. Wow. So this is one where the Goodreads star rating system doesn't really work for me. Gone Girl is a really great all caps book. It is an innovative and intense, twisty and tricky, dramatic and affecting read that compelled me to finish it rapidly. I can't say that I liked it at any level though because of the subject matter. I'm not being overdramatic when I say I think I need therapy after reading. I'm seriously considering it. The book made me question everything I think about people and the way we interact, the way we digest entertainment, and my generally optimistic outlook towards life and relationships. You should read this book if you are able to compartmentalize things well. If you are able to go through with an it's only a movie attitude without applying its ideas and attitudes toward your own life experience, then this little free fall will be a welcome entertainment for you. I'm not good at those things. Flynn's fictional first-person accounts of negative generalizations and assumed relationship stereotypes were extremely effective in consuming me with pessimism, fear, and distaste. The thing I'm most afraid of is that people will read Gone Girl and think, I can identify with that, or that the characters' descriptions about their lives are tough but real. Credit that one to Tommy Metz. The back cover of the book describes their interactions as psychopathy, and I hope people can distance themselves from the inferred realness of the confessionals to see that this is a creative work and not a normal way to be. We are constantly taking in drama and criminality and badness and insanity in our media. Our relatively harmless curiosities have created a steady glow of spotlight on wrongdoing. We have a need to explore the psyches of people that choose wrong, people that do wrong, and the circumstances that surround everything that feels wrong. This book was just plain too much wrong for me. Contrast it to reading something like Columbine, where I was given a third-person telling of the sociopath's story. In Gone Girl, reading first-person rationalizations of insane behavior felt like an attempt to win over the reader and create empathy for evil. Or even worse in my case, it fostered a sense of futility to fight it. Early on, I wanted to yell at the pages, "You don't have to do this! You can be good! Choose to do the right thing!" By the end, I felt like I should give up. I'll jack up a Twain quote here because it's topical. When I think of the number of disagreeable people that have gone to a better place, I am moved to change my lifestyle. Why should we even try to do the right thing if people are like they are in Gone Girl? You know how we jokingly point at conspiracy theorists and fanboys and fearmongers and say things like, "You've read too many crime novels. Someone has to stop watching scary movies." Well, Flynn was so effective in portraying sociopathic relationship behavior that I'm scared that everyone thinks these things. Read it, but hug your loved ones before you go to sleep. So this is an extremely long review because I was deeply affected by Gone Girl. And for whatever reason, sometimes that means it is a really great book to read. And I even mentioned that here. It's a remarkable book. I still am angry, I guess, about it. It still has such a negative taste in my mouth. You know, I talked about it with Tommy, talking about the portrayals here as tough but real. It's really hard for me to accept that, in that we have Amy as a sociopath who murders people and manipulates everyone. And then we have this disrespectful louse in Nick who just makes terrible choices constantly. It's almost as if no one does anything good. It was really hard for me. I haven't even seen the movie, which is something that, I would normally be able to do that. I love Fincher. I would love to be able to take that leap, but the book was so disturbing to me. I say I'm not being overdramatic when I say that I'm seriously thinking about therapy. This is before that I had ever been exposed to therapy. So I was considering therapy to be something very different than it is. I'm a big fan of therapy now. I think everyone should go to therapy. I think it is a very good thing. I don't think you need to be broken or set into some sort of tailspin like this book made me do to consider therapy. That was how this book made me feel. It disoriented me completely about relationships. And this is a bestseller. Gillian Flynn is a very popular author. And I understand why people pick it up. I talk about it here in the review too. It was really hard for me in the way that she talked from a first-person perspective with these terrible people. I don't mind criminal as hero in some books and in some ways of doing things. But here, it was really tough for me. I couldn't get the negativity out of my head. For that reason, if you are sensitive, this is not a good book. It's disturbing, and that's the nature of it. Some people love that. I mean, if I look through the reviews, I'm looking at the reviews from my friends in my network, There are 9 people that give it a 5-star review. There are 6 people that give it a 4-star review. But if I look at some of the comments, people are talking about it being twisted and psycho and not a fan of the ending. It is tough. It is all those things that I said it was. Dramatic and affecting, twisty and tricky, innovative and intense. It is the kind of book that you will pour through because intensely makes you turn pages. For me, it was too much. And I remember after reading this, reaching out to lots of people in my life and being like, I need to talk about this book. I need to talk about what it means. So much so that people were like, okay, it's just a book. You need to let it be. And I don't consume media in that way. I want to go deeply into these stories and find or connect to meaning that's been delivered. This one I want to talk about. I still want to talk about, especially if you like it or if you think that there's great value to it, or if you think it's the kind of twisted psycho thing that contrasts from the way that life exists. A lot of people can watch and take in intensity and see it for the roller coaster that it is, but this one was hard for me. I can respect this book and respect the people that choose to consume media this way, but for me, it was just 2 out of 5 stars. If I wasn't being dramatic when I talked about seeking therapy, when I said read it but hug your loved ones before you go to sleep, that was awfully dramatic. So I will just say that this book is that intense and that dramatic. It can make you love a life that's not like this, if that's the way that reading these kinds of books works for you. It's Gone Girl, and I am definitely open and interested in talking about it, especially if you like it and you can teach me the value of seeing this kind of media, not seeing it as another sign of the apocalypse. I gave Gone Girl 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads, and I read it in 2014.